for now. Hiya! Welcome back to the Funko Pop unboxings today, and this one should be a pretty quick one as we've just got one pop that's come you know where from. It's the neon green parcel tape that gives it away. It's from PopCultcha down under in Australia, of course. So this is a fairly new release, just a common pop. I imagine probably, if not already, then very soon this will start appearing in stores and on UK-based websites. But as is often the case, PopCultcha had it in stock first. I didn't pre-order it because I don't pre-order Funko Pops anymore. That's a waste of everybody's time. But I waited for this to come in stock, and I'm really excited about this one because in this particular line, which is my biggest collection in the Funko realm by far, I think this one's going to end up one of my favourites because it's a little bit different. But we'll get it out and I'll explain all. Well, I won't need to explain particularly why it's different, you'll be able to see for yourself. So the usual PopCultcha drill, it spent some time sat at Melbourne Airport. It got here in well under a month. I'd say sort of around the 3-week mark seems to be PopCultcha's Australia to UK delivery time at the moment. And the price, I can never remember the price. I mean, it varies a little bit every time because of the exchange rates from Australian dollars to pound sterling changing a little bit every day. No protection, but this is one of their pretty strong boxes, and this is going to be an out-of-box pop for me. So even if the box is in really shabby condition, I'm not actually going to be that bothered, but I doubt it is. Let's take a look. Oh, I didn't realise this was a special edition. I thought this was just a common pop. But here we have number 113 in the Pop WWE line. This is Paul Heyman, and rather pleasingly for me, it's the ECW era Paul Heyman as well. I would have been happy with the current Paul Heyman. No, it's not the advocate for Roman Reigns, it was the advocate for Brock Lesnar. That's WWE, because they don't like the term manager now for some reason. He's the special counsel, I think it is, for Roman Reigns and the Bloodline. But I am a massive ECW fan. I have been for, well, 20 odd years now. And Paul Heyman, he came into Eastern Championship Wrestling not too long after it had been established, first as a booker and like an on-screen manager, reprising his Paulie Dangerously role that he'd done in WCW and on certain indies. And then he became booker, eventually he became majority shareholder in ECW, basically the company owner. And he ran ECW for better and for worse, I think you could say, up until the company's demise in 2001. Then he joined WWF, as it was then, as a colour commentator, and he's worked on and off for WWE in various roles ever since. Right then, so who have we got on the back here? I've got 4 of those. Chyna, that's Edge, Drew McIntyre and Otis, and that's a newer Steve Austin, but I have an older variant. Paul Heyman here, not sure where he's exclusive to in the US, but let's get him out of this box. And of course, Paul Heyman isn't a wrestler. I think you could probably count on one hand the amount of wrestling matches he's had throughout his career. I was familiar with him as like a manager in WCW before he took control of ECW some years later. But for me, he'll be synonymous with Extreme Championship Wrestling. And that's why I like this version here, as he's got the ECW Wrestling baseball cap on. So like I say, quite a unique one for the wrestling collection, this. As like certain other ones that I've got, Vince McMahon for instance, and I'm sure I've got a Gene Okerlund as well. I didn't imagine that, did I? Gene Okerlund definitely came out at some point. So yeah, a non-wrestler in the wrestling section, but love this. I love the fact he's got the ECW mic there. I think this may be modelled on his brilliant Worked Shoot promo at One Night Stand 2005, the ECW reunion pay-per-view that WWE put on that eventually spawned the ill-fated ECW revival on television. Dressed all in black there, like a black blazer, black trousers, black shoes. So a simple Pop. Of course, we've got his little ponytail there. He doesn't have that anymore. I mean, he was always kind of rocking the skullet, so to speak, what with his receding hairline, but he did chop his ponytail off eventually, but it was a bit of a trademark of his for a long time, and it's there poking through the back of his baseball cap there, so that's a nice bit of detail there that you wouldn't see if you didn't get this out of box. All my wrestlers come out of box, as you know, so he was always bound to be here. Oob, and I'm delighted with Paul Heyman. One more little look at the artist formerly known as Paulie Dangerously, the ECW head honcho and just all-round wrestling genius and legend himself, Paul Heyman. And I'll put him in my wrestling cabinet, well, one of my wrestling cabinets, I should say, later on. Thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed this brief, but I think rather exciting unboxing of a new WWE Funko Pop. There is some more WWE Pops coming out. There again, if PopCultcha get those in stock first, then I'm likely to order from there, but I'm not doing any pre-ordering, be it at PopCultcha or any of my other recommended and trusted sites. I'm just going to have a look and see who gets them in stock first, but it generally, 9 times out of 10, seems to be PopCultcha at the moment, for the stuff I want anyway. I can't really speak for anyone else and the sort of Funkos they collect. Special thanks go, as always, to my wonderful subscribers and generous, brilliant patrons. Please see all my Funko affiliates with the aforementioned recommended retailers here in the United Kingdom. They're down in the description text box below, as is my Patreon link, Facebook group link, and a link for contents insurance as well. I'm going to go now, and probably before I put him away in the cabinet, although the cabinets are very easy to admire. You know, they're not exactly hidden away, are they? You can see them in pretty much every video that I make. I'll spend some more quality time with Paul Heyman. If that doesn't sound a bit too weird, before I stick him in the wrestling cabinet there behind me where there's some space. And I do hope that all of you will join Paulie and I next time for my next Funko Pop unboxing. Cheers everyone. See ya!